everyone. I love it, the sound of construction around us. Welcome, everyone, to the site of our Baez Place development. I'm Cal Hedigan, CEO of Community Access, and I'm so very pleased to be here today to celebrate breaking ground on what will be Community Access's 21st affordable and supportive housing development in New York City, and our 10th here in the Bronx. I'd like to start by thanking New York State for its continued commitment to fund the capital and operating dollars to make the development of affordable and supportive housing for New Yorkers possible. Community Access is dedicated to developing and operating quality, integrated, supportive housing for people living with mental health concerns. As New York seeks to recover from the ongoing economic and societal effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, it is more evident than ever that our city faces an affordable housing crisis, a crisis disproportionately experienced by Black and Latinx New Yorkers. Last night, almost 50,000 people slept in New York City shelters. This does not take into account the increasing number of people who are unhoused and unwilling to enter the shelter system, but instead seek to survive living on the streets and sidewalks of our city. To state the obvious, housing is the solution to homelessness. And that is why developments like this one are vital if our city is going to be a place where all its inhabitants can live with dignity. When Baez Place opens in 2024, this building will be home to 154 households, including 54 people living with mental health concerns who have experienced homelessness, and 32 elderly individuals who have also experienced homelessness. In addition, there will be 68 studio, 2- and 3-bedroom apartments for income-eligible individuals from the community. Baez Place, like all of our recent projects, will include an urban agriculture component, a rooftop greenhouse, and raised beds in the courtyard. The commercial kitchen here will be able to support food-based micro-enterprises, as well as being a venue for harvest meals and fostering community connections. Dedicated social service staff will support tenants in moving forward with their lives from the security of their own home. A community will grow here. This is all possible thanks to our incredible funders and partners. So many, if not all of you, are here today. New York State Housing Finance Agency, New York State Homes and Community Renewal, New York State Office of Temporary Disability Assistance, Homeless Housing Assistance Corp., New York State Office of Mental Health, Empire State Supportive Housing Initiative, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch Community Development Banking, Richmond Housing Resources, Blue Sky Bronx, ESKW Architects, and Joy Construction. Thank you also to Bronx Community Board 5 for your support, and to the Baez family who helped make this development possible. Luis Baez emigrated to New York City from the Dominican Republic. He founded his own property management company right here in the Bronx and made some prudent real estate investments. He passed away before we purchased the land from his estate, and now his name will be remembered by all those who will call Baez Place their home. I'd also like to thank Steve Coe, who was my bicycle escort here this morning and led Community Access for 40 years and is joining us here to celebrate this milestone in Community Access's history. And last, but certainly not least, I must thank Chris Lacavara, who day in and day out, I always get emotional when I say things that I care about, works tirelessly to make sure that Community Access can keep building. Chris is our CFO and general counsel, and in his spare time acts as our one-person real estate development department. We are standing here today because of his efforts, and the efforts of all of our partners. So thank you all for joining us. Now it is my great privilege to welcome the first of our guest speakers. To lead us off, please welcome friend of Community Access and Bronx Borough President Vanessa Gibson. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. What an honor to be here. Welcome to Baez Place Apartments Groundbreaking. How exciting. This is the future site of 154 units of affordable and supportive housing for residents and families here in the Bronx and the city of New York. I am so honored to be here, so grateful to be the new Bronx Borough President. I love groundbreakings because it truly means that it is a labor of love. It is a culmination of hard work, of collaboration, of partnership from our partners at the state to private partners, making sure that we put together a vision and a blueprint to create access to affordable, quality, and safe housing for the residents that desperately need it. So I first want to begin by, of course, thanking our CEO, Cal Hedigan of Community Access. Thank you so much. I remember when Cal became our new CEO. And of course, I want to say thank you to Steve Coe, longtime CEO, although he has transitioned to a new position now on the advocacy side. I want to say thank you to Steve for his incredible work. I have been working with Community Access for a number of years prior to becoming the borough president, serving for 8 years as the council member of District 16. We have projects on Undercliff Avenue in Community Board 5, River Avenue in Community Board 4, as well as South River Avenue by Yankee Stadium, also in Community Board 4. So over the years, I have watched Community Access plant seeds in our borough, seeds that grow to provide stability. During the COVID-19 pandemic, many of us realized that so many families struggled with access to basic necessities like food, like stable housing. And you have heard the numbers, thousands of residents every night go to temporary housing, and a third of that population are children under 18. It is unacceptable. We need to make sure we do our part as advocates and leaders and elected officials to not only stimulate the economy through new housing, but to create the local jobs, hiring MWBE firms, and making sure that at the end of the day, we realize the vision, which is to make this borough a brighter and healthier and stronger borough for all of our residents and families. Many of our partners at the state, I am also a friend of the state because I used to serve as a member of the New York State Assembly, so I know that the critical work done by Homes and Community Renewal, HCR, is valuable to our work. We have a number of projects going on in the Bronx that are being financed and certainly led by HCR, so I want to recognize our Commissioner, RuthAnne Visnauskas. Thank you so much, Commissioner. We've been together through the trenches many, many times, and I do want to thank you personally for the work that you did to help the residents and families of Twin Parks Northwest. And that was something that none of us ever envisioned in January, that we would be affected by a devastating fire that would claim the lives of 17 neighbors. And it was HCR and our commissioner that were there to help us to provide the services right on the ground. That's what leadership is all about. I also want to thank and recognize Dr. Anne Marie Sullivan, our commissioner of the New York State Office of Mental Health, another great partner that I've known for many years, OMH. We also want to thank Dana Greenberg, our assistant director at the New York State OTDA is the acronym we use, the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance. I want to say thank you. And also OTDA has been critical in administering the ERAP program. And people still ask about that today to make sure that we're able to provide emergency rental assistance. All of our partners at Bank of America and Merrill Lynch, thank you so much. My colleague who is here, Assemblymember Yudelka Tapia, as well as Dr. Bola Omatosho from Community Board 5. all of our partners, this has truly been a labor of love. You have to love your neighbors to put forth an effort that you see here today. This groundbreaking symbolizes hope for a better tomorrow, opportunities for residents and families that deserve safe and affordable housing. In this country, when we're seeing so much happening, the threat of unaffordability, the threat of displacement, the threat of gentrification, and what is happening across the city of New York, it is valued partners like Community Access that not only get it, but put money where their commitment is. Over $80 million invested in this project, and I am so proud because this strip, if you look at Carter Avenue and 176th Street, you don't see a lot of residential. But guess what? This building, Baez Place, is going to transform this block and this community. And so, of course, I also want to acknowledge the family of Luis Baez, an immigrant himself that came to this country to achieve a better life and put forth an effort as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, and unfortunately transitioned before this day has happened. But guess what? Our children, the future of this borough, will see Louis Baez and will look him up and wonder who he was and realize that they too can become a Louis Baez. So I want to thank you, Community Access, for not only recognizing his life and his legacy, but supporting his work through making sure that this building is named in his honor. I am proud of Community Access. I'm so grateful for our partnership. You know you always have a friend in the Borough President, no matter where we go, from River Avenue to Undercliff and everything in between. We will continue to build affordable and stable and quality housing for residents and families with wraparound services, trauma-informed care from a holistic approach, because we know the supportive services are critical, not just for the supportive housing units, but for the entire building, because we're integrating this housing with traditional families, 3 bedrooms, thank you, because my staff knows I love 3-bedroom apartments. And we learned a lot from Twin Parks that the value of 3- and 4-bedroom apartments is critical. And so I appreciate when you understand that we have to build for growing families here in the Bronx. So I want to say congratulations. Thank you to the Baez family. Thank you, Community Access, and all of our partners at the state. We look forward to the ribbon cutting. Thank you so much. Congratulations to everyone.
Thank you so much for your energetic and inspiring words. And now I would like to introduce Commissioner RuthAnne Visnauskas.
Thank you, and hi everyone. Thank you, Borough President Gibson. The Bronx is lucky to have you. We at the state are lucky to have you. I feel like actually every time I come to one of these and I see you, I feel more energized to go back out and do more work. Yes. Did anyone hear the chickens? I feel like it's not every time I go to a Bronx event that I get chickens in the background, but I love it. On behalf of the governor, I am delighted to be back in the Bronx today. I feel like Dr. Bowl and I are on tour. I think this is our 3rd event we've done maybe in 3 weeks together. So we are very busy here in Board 5 and very busy in the Bronx in general. So I first would certainly congratulate Cal and Steve and the team at Community Access for getting this project off the ground. As you can tell by the Borough President's thank yous, as mine as well, between the government agencies, OMH and OTDA, the Community Board, the Bronx Borough President, the Assemblywoman, the banks, there's Merrill Lynch, there's Richmond, we have Joy Construction. It takes a gazillion people to get these projects just to here, and it's sort of the reason why we do these events, even though we're just doing them with a bunch of dirt behind us and no people living in here. We do it because we acknowledge that it takes so much work just to get to this place, and we want to acknowledge the partnership and the commitment and all the time that it takes to get here. So just a minute about the project. I wanted to comment that I love the A Place for Homes and Hopes and Futures. And we think about that a lot at HCR. We think about our housing projects as the places where the seeds of hope get planted. We think about them as the place where life happens, and it happens in a safe and affordable and quality place. And we think about them as the place where futures can really begin. So I really just love the saying under this. It really embodies all that we like to think about when we work on projects that are providing quality, modern, affordable housing in every community across the state. And here we're so excited to be able to celebrate the beginning of a project that's going to promote health and quality for the residents who get to live here, as well as the surrounding community. Rooftop greenhouse. How cool is that? Community Access's urban agricultural team is going to provide programming on gardening and healthy eating. There's going to be outdoor space and exercise room with on-site services to foster a wellness-oriented environment that really can enrich the lives of adults, children, and seniors. I think we all recognize in the wake of the pandemic, those types of connections are ever more important in our housing and really foundational for healthy and successful lives. On top of that, the project is going to provide broadband. We are really focused at HCR and at the governor's office on making sure that we are providing low-cost and no-cost broadband everywhere we are investing. It was important before. It is ever more important as we come out of the pandemic, and we really want to try to close that digital divide, especially in communities where it still exists. Lastly, I would say a couple great things. We, as I mentioned, have been in the Bronx a lot. We broke ground on Star Hill, which was a $190 million project not too far from here. That is about 326 units. The governor and the mayor were there, really excited about that. We are also partnering with Community Access over on River Avenue to create 245 apartments, including those with supportive services. And we are trying to make sure we're providing opportunity, providing choice, providing quality housing, because we have a lot of rent-burdened households. In the Bronx, 60% of renters are rent-burdened, and over half of those are severely rent-burdened. So it means thousands and thousands of families right here in the Bronx are a couple missed paychecks away from homelessness. And the only way to address, there's lots of ways to address that. One of the main ways we can address that is what we're doing right here today. We are incredibly committed to ending housing insecurity and making sure people are not a paycheck away from losing their home. So congratulations, everyone. It's really exciting to be here. Can't wait to come back and see it when it's all done. Thanks.
Thank you so much, RuthAnne. And now I'm very happy to introduce Dr. Anne Marie Sullivan of New York State Office of Mental Health, our longest term partner in our joint endeavors to serve people living with mental health concerns in New York State.
Oh, good morning, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here. And you know, when I look at this beautiful building, I truly can't thank enough the borough president, our assemblywoman, the community board 5, for welcoming 54 units of this beautiful building for individuals struggling with mental health issues. You know, one of the biggest problems we have in the Office of Mental Health, and I was just talking with Commissioner Visnauskas about this, is getting communities to embrace actually having individuals with mental health concerns integrated into a beautiful project like this. You have welcomed them. You've not just welcomed them, you've picked an excellent partner, which is Community Access, who does incredible work with individuals struggling with mental health issues. And they've been doing it for decades. They don't just do housing, they also do they do programs, they do crisis services, they do education, they do a lot to help individuals with mental illness achieve their hopes and dreams. And I don't think there's any greater mission than that. So I can't thank you all enough, because it can't happen without a welcoming community, without individuals who recognize that that support is critical for individuals, and who say that they too should have every opportunity to live full and complete lives. So I can't thank you enough for being there for them, for integrating it into a project like this. We're so excited. And we've been working with Community Access for a long time. I can't thank Cal and Steve enough for all the work they've done over the years. There have been thousands and thousands of individuals who've moved into being really well integrated into communities and having full and productive lives because of the work that they do. So again, thank you. It's incredibly, incredibly exciting. And I know that when we finally cut the ribbon, there will be individuals. I have to always give one anecdote when I'm at one of these. I went to one of the openings a number of years ago with ribbon cutting, and they gave us a tour. So I met with a lot of the residents who were living there. And one of the individuals who had a history of serious mental health problems came up to me and he showed me his key to the apartment. And he said, I've never had a key to my home before. Thank you. So I think what's going to happen here is that for all the individuals, they were going to have a key to a wonderful place to live, a dignified place to live, and the opportunity to thrive in their communities. So thank you so much.
Thank you for reminding us of why we're all here. Sometimes it's easy to forget that how many human lives change when they have a safe place to live. Now I'd like to introduce Assistant Director Dana Greenberg of New York State Office of Temporary Disability Assistance and Homeless Housing Assistance Program. A mouthful.
It is. It's a lot. Thank you very much. Good morning. So on behalf of Governor Hochul and the OTDA Commissioner Daniel Tietz, I'm pleased to be here today to celebrate the groundbreaking of Baez Place. And I too would like to congratulate Community Access, your whole team. And I think this is our first HHAP project with you, so I'm excited for what the future holds for us as being a part of this team on the state level. This project reflects the needs of the community, as people have said, providing 154 units of affordable and supportive housing. The Homeless Housing and Assistance Program is proud to be contributing $7 million to support the 86 supportive units for formerly homeless families and individuals. I'd like to acknowledge and thank my government partners. Both commissioners are here today. Thank you. The elected officials that are here, it is your support of both our programs and the community that make this possible, so I like to thank you. I appreciate the ERAP call out, I do, because that's not something I ever get to work on personally, as I'm stuck in a capital world, but so the HHAP project manager, Matt Swell, is not here today. So literally yesterday, I grabbed a colleague of mine, Ryan, who's in the back, and said, hey, do you want to come tomorrow, be at my house at 6:30? And he is our ERAP person, or one of. And he's transitioning to HHAP. And I will tell you that he stood out there this morning while we were waiting to start with his iPad and was like making sure nobody needed ERAP stuff since I pulled him out of the office. So always working, I promise you. I'd also like to just acknowledge from the Dormitory Authority, our technical assistance provider, Lucy Sanchez, who was here early this morning for a construction meeting. And like everyone else, I look forward to coming back when people move in and to welcome them home. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dana, and we certainly look forward to working with HHAP on future projects, if we have very good luck. And now I'd like to introduce Assembly Member Udelka Tapia of District 86.
Good morning. This is such a great morning today. Yes, and this is the district where we building that. I cannot be so proud, so much proud than I am today, because I mean, this is something that as an organizer, as a living in this borough and this district for more than 30 years, I have fought with all my heart to bring the affordable housing that our families, our seniors, and especially our community and individuals with mental issues and mental concerns were living up, and making this a building that a development that actually is gonna integrate those families, because it doesn't matter, I mean, what is your concern. It doesn't matter if you have mental issue. It doesn't matter if you are low income family. It doesn't matter if you are a senior. Everyone, every individual, it's a humanity thing. It's a human thing. Have the right to live with dignity. Have the right to have a stability. Housing stability, housing economic stability. So I cannot be more proud, because I've been fighting for this all my life, for my neighbors. But you know, homelessness because of lack of affordable housing and mental illness is a big crisis in the city of New York. With more than 90,000 men, women, and children sleeping in shelters in the state every single day, this is a monumental humanity crisis that need immediate action. And this is what we're doing today. We're taking action. This new supportive affordable housing development will serve them. Our low-income families, individuals living with mental health illnesses, and seniors, which are our most vulnerable population. Thank you to Community Access for all that you have done over the year, for your commitment and dedication to serve our most vulnerable population. Thank you again. I cannot thank you enough, and be so happy and proud for that. And Baez Place and its 144 apartment units comes to offer some form of hope to all of those who are in need of assistance. And this is so true, because I mean, what Ann says is so true. There's so many of them, so many in our community that never have a key to where they live, and that gives you so much pride, so much dignity, when you are able to say, "This is my house." And for me, living in a community that is 26,000, median income is 26,000, and an immigrant community. I'm an immigrant myself, so I can be prouder than that. And making sure that we are doing this to stabilize these families and to give them dignity is just a monumental step that we are taking today. I want to thank all our partners. I want to thank the commissioners, HCR, and I want to thank them in OTADA and all our partners, the financial institutions, and especially Community Access, because of this partnership. I mean, this is, to do something like this take a lot of collaboration and monumental, commitment. And I think, all of us here today, that's what we are doing today. We have the commitment and we have the passion to actually fight for the most vulnerable. Thank you all.
Thank you, Assemblymember Tapia, for your kind words and also for welcoming us into this community. And now I'd like to introduce Dr. Bola Omotosho, the board chair for Community Board 5.
Well, good morning. Shall I speak with my body voice tone, or I should elevate it a little bit? Well, once again, good morning. If you look around, a lot of women have spoken before me, and I'm not taking this lightly at all. Thank you. I just want to, for record purpose, the women are in charge. So you can look around, and I want to say a big thank you, because here in Community Board 5, all protocols observed, here in Community Board 5, we're a bedroom community. And I can remember when Community Access came to us that they wanted to open up a building on Cedar Avenue. This was a time when it was not so popular. Everybody would say, "Not in my backyard." Yeah. It was an uphill task to get my fellow colleagues on the board to see the vision that Community Access has. Let me fast track a little bit. Now, from the west side, where they have the building, now to the east side, that's in Cedar Avenue. Now we're in Carter, right? My district. Your district, yes. You're also my assemblywoman. Okay. So when you look at it historically, I would like to say a big thank you for the tutorial and education I got from Steve. Because Steve, oh yes, 40 years with Community Access. He made me understand the connection between mental health, even though I'm a physician, and housing and homelessness. But it's just, with his expertise, I was able to make that presentation to my board and collectively for us to support the first project. So this time around, it's no-brainer. Madam CEO, welcome and congratulations. It's no-brainer for the board and the community to say, hey, no, it's no longer not in my backyard. We understand the need to connect the dots between homelessness, mental health, and everything else in between. It's a holistic approach. And community access today demonstrated it. Commissioner said earlier on, this is about our third time or fourth time of meeting this week, having groundbreaking in this district. Housing is greatly needed. We need it so badly in this community, but unfortunately, there are no longer government-owned lands. It has to be privately sourced, either some dilapidated buildings that had to be sourced and everything. And we support all those things. And once again, for my colleagues on the board, it's not about me, but it's about the community and understanding that we have to look out for our neighbors and everyone else. And I want to say a big thank you to Community Access and all your partners for making this day a beautiful day. Now we can't wait for the ribbon cutting. As you can see in Bot 5, we have several buildings going up, and it's not by accident. It's all about leadership of former former council member, now our new borough president. Now, of course, we have community activists. I always look at my assemblywoman and say community activist. I don't know why. Right? So I'm yet to get used to calling her assemblywoman, but it's my assemblywoman. Community activists, and those are the kind of things that we need in this district. And I want to say a big thank you again. And for my Bot 5, please, Luciana, stand up. All the communications that goes to the office goes to the assistant manager. I call her assistant manager, Luciana Dawson. And she makes sure that we do the right thing on the board and say, we did this research, we checked out this, we did that, and it's much easier to do. And thank you all. I have to give up this morning to be here at, I was asked to come in at 9:45, but I came in at 9:30 because it's very important. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Omatosho, for also welcoming us into this community and being the spokesperson for Yes in My Backyard. It is much appreciated. And next, we will hear from Eli Weiss, principal of Joy Construction, who not only are the general contractor on this project, but also hosting us this morning at the groundbreaking.
Thank you so much, Cal. I'll be brief because my mom once told me if there are bagels, don't speak too much. When we first saw the design and the site plan for this site, as you could see the elevation behind us, we were truly amazed. We said, wow, you know, Community Access and Chris, they're so creative. They're going to do supportive housing on what should be a ski resort. But, you know, I think that even though this is a very complicated and challenging site, it obviously, when you look at what will be here in just a couple of years from now, it makes it that much easier to overcome challenges. And to be honest, those challenges couldn't be overcome with all of you, with your elected officials, Community Access, those of you in the community, those of you at the state, those of you from Bank of America. So we wanted to thank you for entrusting us with this opportunity. I think the project speaks for itself, and supportive housing and community access, their goal speaks for itself. But I just wanted to point out one other thing that you should all feel good about today. You know, this project, the construction costs are probably in excess of about $50 million. At least a third of that gets spent on labor. And think about all of the jobs that people have that can come to work on a daily basis. This project has local hiring programs. This project has MWBE hiring programs. So beyond what will be an amazing project and a wonderful addition to this neighborhood, think about what on a daily basis this project is doing for people in this community. And to that, Joy Construction says thank you for trusting us to build this project, and thank you for the opportunity to do something collectively good with all of you. So thank you so much, and thank you for coming out.
Thank you, Eli. With the rendering behind us, it's hard to, you know, one can forget the immense hill that is this construction site. So thank you for the reminder of the job ahead. And last but not least, I'm very pleased to introduce Stephanie Pierre-Louis, Senior Relationship Manager for Bank of America Merrill Lynch.
It's an honor to be here today. You know, I think of lenders as supporting roles, right? This is not about us and what we did here. It's about what community access is doing in this neighborhood and the impact that they're really going to do. And that's how we measure our success. If we're able to see the vision that they're able to bring to a neighborhood and really deliver for people who live here. Personally, I have very close family members with mental illness, and I know how challenging it is to house those folks and have the supportive services behind them to basically make sure they have what they need to be successful in life, to really thrive. And that's how we really truly measure success. So yeah, we gave a $51 million LC, and we invested $38 million in equity. But honestly, it goes down to who are we serving and why are we doing this? And we have to kind of separate that piece to make sure that vision is really brought to fruition, and we're hoping that we can continue just to basically be that supportive partner that you need so that projects like this continue to get built, and we will not stand in your way between the bagels. So thank you so much, and honestly, it's an honor to be here. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Stephanie. And thank you all again for coming here this morning to celebrate the creation of more affordable and supportive housing for New Yorkers in need. We're going to set up for photos now. No groundbreaking would be complete without many photographs being taken of all our partners. So please help yourself to food and refreshments if you are not one of the speakers. And if you did just speak, you're going to follow me to wherever it is we're setting up for the photos, and someone's going to tell me that. And thank you to those viewers who are joining us virtually. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 people on the live stream. And so, yes, I'd like to ask everyone who gave remarks to stand up and follow my lead.